Work.
Hello, my name is Ali, and today I'm facilitating the last of a series of my hack of Uncharted Worlds and Starforged, which I've called Uncharted Stars. Um, you want to hear more? Go back to session one. We're just going on with playing. I will just plug the Open Hearth gaming community, which is the monthly calendar of which is where this game is organized, where all my online games are organized. If you don't know about the Open Hearth, please search Open Hearth Gaming Community and have a look at us. Come and join us. There's an opportunity to play with us for without being a member of the community or anything. In the first full weekend of September, I think 6 to 9, I want to say.
Think
Uh,
so.
yeah, there or thereabouts. That weekend, anyway. So look us up and look up Shared Hearth Open Gaming, and come and have a go at a one shot run by some of us. Our last player is just coming back, hopefully having fixed his camera. Um, or not. Well, while Paul is fixing that, I'll just try to. It occurs to me that we're doing this for Paul's benefit because he wasn't here last time. But I think what I want, if we can manage it, is a previously on Uncharted Stars, which gives us some idea of where each of Briz, Pleasant, and Dr. Bransom ended the last kind of vague cliffhanger on. So let me start with Briz. Can you do a previously on?
I think we see Riz looking at Pleasant, nodding, and turning to the corporate official and say, "We'll take care of this." And then there's a shot of me giving the boot to one of their people, and Pax imploding them with the gunfire in space. And now I'm like, okay, now what?
So that turned a security detail of 4 into a security detail of 3. Pleasant. Previously on, where do we leave you, or where do we pick up today?
Pleasant had boarded the disabled Fines logistics ship along with Briz, but did not leave it because there was a ruse about needing to fix something, and they were kept behind to do said fixing, slash be a hostage, and has somewhat used their skills to good advantage and has set up a coolant conduit that will wreak havoc at the mere press of a button. But Jort, please come and punch some people in the face.
Yeah, what I will say about that conduit, I think it was on a 7 to 9, wasn't it? So you're not entirely certain whether it will go exactly when you want it to. It could go a little earlier, it could go a little late. And Dr. Bransom, where do we find you as we pick up this episode?
Dr. Branson is on the bridge and just fired shots on the security detail that flows into space.
Bits of it just float
Bits of
away.
him.
Yeah, because you use the Chimera's point defense weapons, which are quite good for taking out missiles and make a heck of a mess of anyone, even if they're in power armor. Jord. We suggested that Jord was after a shore leave was a little worse for wear. But I think perhaps Bransom calls down to Jord saying it's all turned a bit nasty. Um, uh, Briz is outside the stricken derelict or the stricken Fines logistics ship. Pleasant is inside. Um, there's still, as far as we know, only a 3-man security detail in power armor down there on the engineering deck, which also doubles as their barracks by the look of it. And they are guarding one Azriela Fines, who is a potent member of the Fines family, who run Fines Logistics, senior member of the Fines family. So let me start with Jort then. When this is communicated down and you stumble out of your bunk, Jort, convinced that they've all made a mess of it again, probably. What do we see Jort doing?
Grabbing his hammer, marching to the bridge where the good doctor. You're on the bridge, aren't you, Doctor?
Yes.
Doctor, what is going on?
Well,
What has happened to my head?
I can only imagine must some kind of intoxication. But Jort, we need you. Briz and Pleasant are on this derelict ship, and they're in trouble.
Are we docked?
We are. No, we aren't.
No, you got close, and Briz and Pleasant went across on a tether. You're holding position. But on the screens, Jort, in front of Dr. Bransom, you'll be able to see Briz is, magnetic booted to the control deck where the breach occurred that caused the problems.
Briz is magnetic booted to the control deck in my armor? How dare he?
Well,
Very well.
technically, it's still his armor.
You are a wise man, Doctor. I will save Briz and I will save Pleasant. Pull it close, and I will do the business.
So
Contact me in the airlock.
While Jort is suiting up, Pleasant, down on the what was described to you as the engineering deck, I think, but which has turned out to be a barracks deck with engineering control in it. Clearly, the leader of the security detail is increasingly concerned. He was already suspicious of the situation, as I remember, and now the accident that appears to have caused his colleague to go offline, and my guess is he's probably got some readouts on the rest of his team, and it's now showing a flat line for that colleague. He, the front of his helmet comes up and he says, "What if you have had anything to do with this? I will tear you limb from limb." And in that powered armor, he might be able to do that.
Brother, I've been in here the whole time. I'm fixing your ship, bud. I don't know what you're failing to handle, but that's not something that I can not. It's not for me. Okay.
Now he was already suspicious. He's edging towards hostile. What is it that you say to him that you think might bring him away from hostile?
I think I want to push him more towards hostile.
Oh, right. Okay.
I want to make him angry and sloppy and running around, not thinking about what he's doing.
Okay. So well, I'm leaning into your manipulate move here. Is this about inciting them to take an action to describe right now? Or is this about shifting the way he perceives you?
Well, I guess we hadn't really talked about, like, if he shifts, I guess what does that mean later on?
Yeah, I think that right now there's no mechanical effect. I think if he shifts to further towards hostile, then further social interaction with him is going to be at disadvantage.
All right, so that's not what I want to do. I want to get him to freak out and run around.
Okay.
So
Okay.
immediate action. So I think he's just lifted up the visor and mentioned missing one of his men, and I think I'd say, boy, if I were you, I wouldn't be worrying about the rest of your squad. That looks like you've got a janky connection there. If you go EVA in that thing, you're toast, man. Let me see that thing. I can't believe that they outfitted you in this crap. Is this still version 2.3?
And what are you hoping he's going to do as a result of this manipulation?
I'm just trying to get him out of here.
Fine. To leave you and
he's-
go and do some diagnostics.
Yeah, like what? What's up? Oh my God.
Okay.
We've all been sabotaged.
Let's have you roll plus influence.
How deep does this go? Oh, it needs my name again. And I think that's +1. And it's a 9, just like I rolled last week.
Previously. So he says, okay, don't move. And then he says, 2 and 3, rendezvous in the barracks. Bring Madam Fines with you. We need to run some diagnostics on the suits. And he leaves you in the engineering control room and disappears to do that. Briz, we know that you were hoping Jort was going to play a part here, but is there anything you are doing while you hope that hope will be realized?
Yeah, I want to see if I can figure out an alternate method of egress.
Egress or ingress?
Ingress, sorry.
Ingress.
I'm
Okay.
American. We just exchange those all the time, you know. So
Egress
in,
from space
yeah.
into the absolutely. So you want to get out of space.
Chips, fries, whatever. So yeah, I would like to see what I can figure out here.
Okay, I think that's probably gather information, isn't it?
Okay.
So roll plus mind.
Okay. Why did I close the roller? Oh, I can just hit the flat 2d6 button without having to worry. And it's still a 10.
And it's still a 10. Gee whiz. So on a 10, 7 plus, you discover something helpful or specific. I think that what I probably see you doing is kind of hand over hand down the length of the ship, which you previously made your way down in the lift internally. I think what I see you is hand over hand going down the skin of the ship to where there is probably some kind of emergency exit or vent from the engineering controls from that deck. Yeah,
Then
it's not the kind of place that's gonna evacuate the atmosphere in there, but it is the kind of place which might be a soft place of entry.
Then I'm going to set myself up here and beacon back to Paxt and Jort and give them the heads up. And my comms traffic to Pleasant in case they happen to be monitoring it is, oh my God, Pleasant, this guy just got hit by debris and he flew off into space. I'm trying to get back in right now, but it is absolutely a mess out here.
So Paxt, in order to put now, of course, the tether doesn't go where Briz now is. So you need to maneuver closer to make this easier for Jort to make the crossing. So I think I'm going to lean into your maneuver, your explorer maneuver roll. When you push your vehicle, roll plus hardware.
Let's see. It is a hardware 0, I think. So it's a 7.
7 plus. Choose the nature of your success. Get somewhere hard to reach, say where and how. Take someone by surprise, say who and how. Dramatically dodge imminent harm. I don't think that applies. People lose track of you. Well, I don't think they have any idea where you are anyway. So it's one of those top 2, I think.
I think getting Jort where he wants to be. So probably where Briz is right now.
Fine.
So I imagine, maneuvering the ship really close to, to the breach that Jort only has to jump.
7 to 9, but you end up in a dangerous land or a challenging situation the GM describes. I think that you get in really close. So Jort, I think, is going to be at advantage to make the kind of the transfer across. But the difficulty is that as you do that, you hadn't noticed that there is some loose cabling on the outside of the Find ship. And as you move around, it spins around and tethers the ship to the Fines logistics ship. Does that seem like an interesting complication?
Yeah,
Okay. Jort, you have advantage to jump across there unless you have anything better. I'm going to say face danger.
Oh, I think face danger. I haven't had enough time to coordinate a plan.
No, I don't think so.
Put
Once
Doctor
you're
to get us
with
in.
Briz, I think you might have that option.
So yeah, the door will iris open, and I can see Briz in front of me. It's a nice short jump. I'll come over comms. Nice work, Doctor. This should be easy. And let's roll 3d6.
Plus precision, I think. 3d6, take the top two, add precision.
Let's go with the 5 and the 2, and then we're going to add 2. So 9.
9, 7 plus. So you are successful. 7 to 9, there's a cost, and you pay a price. Let's see if a percentile dice will offer me an interesting possibility on that. Or Briz, before I make a decision on that pay a price, is there anything you think you could do to aid this ally?
Maybe if I can like use some kind of line or the magnet, something.
Yeah, I'm
I
happy for
expect that
that.
would be hardware, right?
That would be hardware.
Okay, so that's a +1. And a couple of that's a 9.
Oh, wow. This is all going well. So Jort's mixed success becomes a full success, and he lands comfortably. On a 7 to 9, though, you suffer any cost attached to their original outcome. So let me go back to that percentile. 76, 67. 67 says your vehicle suffers damage. 76 says you are harmed. Yeah, I think I'm going to apply a stress to you, Briz, because I think that you do throw that line out to Jort, but we know he's quite a big beast. And though he is weightless, he is not without inertia. And so reeling him in causes you some strain.
So here is my question. What happens when you run out of stress?
Oh, you mark a wound.
So I have marked my last stress.
Right.
Just to tell you.
Right.
That,
So
so
next
just
time,
going forward is wounds, and my armor is already marked, so I can't use it to resist damage.
Ooh, wow. This is all getting interesting. Paxed, is there anything, Dr. Bransom, is there anything you want to do about that tethering problem? The fact that you are now tangled with some debris off the side of the logistics ship?
I think I have to go outside of the ship with my rocket boots and
Yes.
cut these cables. The only way I see.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So we see you kind of just trying to nudge the ship away, and it's clear that it's not working. Meanwhile, Pleasant, I think you can, there's a kind of slight jiggling about on the other ship as Pax realizes that he can't actually pull free of this, and he dare not try to pull you with him. And then we see Dr. Bransom heading to the EVA deck to suit up. Jort, you're in comms now, you're standing next to Briz, and Briz thinks that he's found this vent that might provide a way into the engineering deck other than the standard routes.
Riz, my friend, your armor has taken combat damage.
Yes.
It is even now more attractive to me. It has been damaged in the heat of battle and still stands. Don't worry, my friend. That is a good sign.
I'll take your word here.
Yes.
How do you want to play this, Jort?
We do not want to alert them to our attention. Give me a second. I will open this vent so they do not know we are here.
Excellent.
So clandestine, I think you're leaning into there. When you sneak into an area, roll plus precision, Jort.
Oh, that's not a good roll. That's not a good roll.
How
3
bad
and
is
a
it?
2, but I do add 2, so it's 7. So that's not terrible.
Okay, a 7. So on a 7+, say which of these opportunities you gain. Eliminate security open doors, recon game information scout layout, set up an action triggered later when you say so.
Well, if this is just opening the door, then clearly I've got, well, it's eliminate security and open doors.
Yeah, so no one's going to know that you've gone through this event.
Well, apart from
Yeah.
they probably will, because it's 7 to 9. You're
Well,
detected.
on a 7 to 9, your detected retrogression will be here soon. So I think, Pleasant, what you're suddenly aware of is a series of red lights begin to flash on the engineering panels. Clearly, something is amiss. What do you do, Pleasant, when you see this? And you know, we know that the emergency lights are on, but now there is a kind of neat, neat, neat sounding from engineering where you are, and they're not. What do you do, Pleasant?
Briz, have you relayed any double entendre type things that might tell me? What
I
should
really
make of
hope we
this?
get backup. I wish Jort was here, but unfortunately he's still back on the planet and not here with me.
Okay, that
How
doesn't tell me
subtle
that,
is that? Was that
that
subtle?
you're causing the emergency lights.
Yeah,
We know
I
we
think
wanted Jort. My goodness. So I guess I would ask you for more information about the emergency lights, so I
Okay,
could try to figure out what might be happening.
Okay, is this examine or gather information? Which you think, which gives you the answers you want?
What cause or origin? So probably examine then.
Fine, fine. So let's have you roll plus. This is hardware, so it's tech. So roll plus hardware.
8.
I saw that 6 and I thought, oh, on an 8, 7+. Choose what you're looking for. Cause or origin. You can see underneath it a panel is lit up showing the ventilation shaft, cooling shaft that runs past engineering and down to the reactor, where excess heat is vented. 7 on the GM will introduce a complication. The trouble is that there is no obvious route from that conduit into the engineering area, because it's could be venting radioactive gases in an emergency.
Okay. So I think I'm considering how to help them and maybe distract the folks on this ship, but I think I'm going to save that for potential aid and ally action rather than something on its own.
Fine. But I think what those flashing lights and that kind of alarm does is to bring one of the security team back to engineering, but not their leader. He sent someone to check what's going on, and you know, the loudspeaker in his shoulder will say, "What is that? I thought you'd fix this."
Oh, is he saying that then?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else for it. Does he have his faceplate up?
I think he has it down. I think, yeah, because he's a nameless goon rather than a kind of important character. So I think we don't know who he is. He doesn't get a credit in the, you know, at the end of the show.
All right, then I'm gonna have to trick him. So I say, I'm not strong enough to hold this in place while I weld it. Get over here and hold these live wires.
Okay, so you've prepped this. I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Paxed, you're outside. You need to cut through these conditions. Have you got anything? Oh no, you've got nimbly parkour with or without gravity, haven't you? So tell me what we see as you emerge from the airlock.
I think we see an aspect of Dr. Bransom's qualifications or skill level that we haven't seen before. He does look a bit weird when he doesn't have a spacesuit on with his high collar and so forth. But as soon as he has the suit on and his jump pack on the back. He moves like a ballet dancer between the cables. Is a wielding tool or some kind of cutting tool, and he moves, as I said, before I roll. Let's see if that holds, but he does have a certain elegance to him.
So let's see how elegant that is. When you nimbly parkour with or without gravity, roll plus precision.
Which is +2. Nice. That is a 10.
That's a 10. It does look just like that. On a 7+, choose the nature of your success. Which of those do you think?
Hold on a second. Get somewhere hard to reach. What is the second? Take someone by surprise. That dramatically dodge imminent harm. I think it's get somewhere hard to reach, I guess.
Yeah, describe this hard to reach location that you need to get to in order to begin to cut through these this cable.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that the ship is so close to the other ship, our ship, the Chimera, that Dr. Branson is constantly in danger of being squished between the two ships. So he will move in and out of the danger area, cutting the wires.
I
while
like
he
that.
flies.
I like that. We'll come back to you to see how long that cutting exercise is going to take. Jort, you and Briz have breached the outer skin of the ship. What's the plan now?
Briz, I think we should save Pleasant. He is in danger.
So here's the thing. The whole reason this has started is that there are essentially workers, laborers on this ship that the command staff was going to toss away into the void of space. And we do not want that to happen. And that's why Pleasant and I are doing what we're doing.
Yeah, because we'll have a quick flashback, I guess, to last
Yeah.
time when you said
Yeah.
who
So
else is on board, and they say something like, "You needn't worry about anybody else."
so right now we've got to figure out where they are first. Pleasant and I both said this is what we wanted to do. So I hope that you, Jort, will respect his warrior's wishes.
Jort will respect his wishes. We will save the innocent and the downtrodden.
And I think that's what I would try and do is us to get in and figure out where they've got the rest of the people stored away.
Okay, so how are you going to do that quickly?
We're going to crawl along this passageway. I take it does cycle some sort of airlock.
No, it doesn't, because it's a coolant duct that will run ultimately down to the reactor shell.
Probably don't want to climb into the reactor. That
no.
might be a bit hot.
No.
We want to
If the
transfer.
reactor were to melt down, then radioactive gases are likely to be vented this way as well.
Yes, we probably don't want to breathe them. Okay, so really we want to transit this space to sort of like normal ship space. And then we want to scout the place out. So probably from some sort of computer terminal, I'd have thought. Would have been
Sounds good.
best.
Yeah. So is this? I'm not sure that's Vanguard, you know. I think that's the clandestine infiltrate again. Because you need to gain some information, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know how you want to play getting from sort of crawling down some airless tube onto a ship where I can, into the ship where I can interface some computer systems.
Well, I think that the way we'll play this is we'll play it as you find some conduits. Yeah, and work from there. So
I will help.
of course you will.
Yes. I'm right there.
So, Jort, let's have you roll to hack into the system. See if you can get any indication of who's where.
Dice haven't been good today, have they? They've been terrible. Threes and twos. 6.
6. Oh my, you're in, but you're detected. So which of those opportunities do you want to gain? And I'll build out.
Which
In
of
some ways,
the
I quite
can I
like
help him?
I quite
Oh,
like
you can help him.
retribution
You
right
did say
here.
you would aid and out.
It's-
So what
it's
do we
good.
see? What do we see Briz doing in order to help him?
I think I pulled out like whatever kits I have on me, and I'm using that to try and like map and spot the area to give us like a weak point.
Okay. You have a third piece of equipment, Jort, that you haven't defined. I don't know.
No,
if
and I
there's-
have looked at that. There's not. There's the camo.
There's something down there
Um,
that I just wondered if there was something that would allow you to be.
I mean, if somebody turns up, I could show them some false credentials.
No, okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I've been in here all the time. I'm just doing some repairs.
There's the. I mean, the stealth poncho is very nice.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, there's nothing in there that will help you with this hacking task.
no, there's nothing that gives plus
Okay.
to a roll.
So, Briz, the thing is that I'm not seeing any equipment on your list, or anything particularly in your background that makes this an easy aid and ally. So I'm very
Okay.
happy for your aid
I
and
quite
ally.
like 6-. In all fairness, I
Fair
quite
enough.
like that result.
Go ahead.
I was just going to offer Briz, he can have it at disadvantage.
No, I'm good with he wants the 6-.
Okay.
I defer to my
You're
allies.
detected, and before you can do anything, response and retribution is here. Bring
Exactly.
the enemies on.
And that might be quite a convenient thing to happen, mightn't it? Because what I think we will see is you find. I'll give you the information. There are 2 people on the bridge deck, and there are 2 people down in the drive controls, which are further. So there's 2 of them above where the Azriela and her security team is, Unpleasant, and 2 in a deck below there. Yeah. But that, I think, Pleasant, is when all of the security detail storm into engineering, saying, we have a breach, where are they? Pleasant, do you want to do anything with those electrical conduits now, or are you having second thoughts now all 3 of them are here?
I would have liked to have resolved that before
Fine,
the action
go ahead and do
continued.
it. Go ahead and do it. What do you think that I'm not sure that any of your career skills apply,
don't
but
think so.
stop me if you think you do. So I think this is probably face danger.
Okay. And probably hardware again.
I think it probably is. Or no, I might give you influence because you need to get him to do it, don't you? You need to be convincing. So I'll
Okay.
give you influence or hardware, your choice.
Let me make sure that yeah, okay, that does make sense. All right, let's see. 12.
Wow. What was that about dice? So on a 7+, you're successful. And there he is. He's holding these electrical cables exactly as you want him to. There is no downside to this. What happens?
I think it's like, because he is in a suit, like he's not fried, but I think it's that thing where he can't let go of these cables. The
Fine.
suit is shorted out, he's attached to it, he's stuck there. No, they come in and I go, oh my god, help him, and play the screaming little waif and what's happening?
So 1 blown to pieces, 2 is neutralized in engineering for the moment at least. That leaves the commander to seek out the intruders and the other one to stay on engineering with Pleasant and try to solve the problem that now they are facing. Yeah. So I think that that's the nature of the retribution. There is now someone searching for intruders, Jort and Briz. They may not know it's you, but they know something's in the ducts. So, Briz?
I want to wait until we can get a chance and somebody comes by. I do have a pistol, which is hidden and close and invisible to scans.
Hey,
And so I would like to wait until I can get a shot and put a bullet in one of these guys.
okay. Jort, are you staying there, or are you going to go and try to find either the survivors at the top of the ship or those at the bottom of the ship?
Riz looks banged up, so I will stand and fight.
Just beware that you are in this relatively confined space, because you hacked your way into that. You didn't gain entry to a bit of the ship. So if somebody crawl along the other way, they're going to face one of you. It will be quite difficult for you to help. I just want to make sure we've got the kind of positioning sorted. Okay. Paxed, let's come back to you. I think this is, given what you described, definitely face danger to kind of cut through here.
Mhm.
I think you're going to have to succeed twice on this, because this is, I think you need to cut it here and then cut it there.
So the first is a 9.
Okay, that looks good. 7 to 9, you are successful. 7 to 9, there's a cost or pay a price. Let me roll a percentile dice and see which way the wind blows. 35 or 53. 35, something of value is lost or destroyed. Or 53, a friend, companion, or ally is in harm's way, and you are, if you're alone. You are in harm's way. I think that you have successfully cut through the first section of cable. But the tether, no, you were going by jet, so let's not have that happen. What bit of equipment could I have be damaged or destroyed? Oh, it has to be the advanced assistant droid, doesn't it?
Probably.
Stress that. Put a tick in the box as it is squeaking into your ear. You squirm out of the way as the ships just move slightly past one another, but it isn't quick enough, and it's just sitting there tethered to you, but needing to be repaired. Pleasant. There's one guy in there now. Clearly, I think he probably is threatening you. You know, free my buddy.
I mean, I feel like at this point, the thing to do is to pretend I've collapsed, like mentally, and collapse physically in tears, and just, what's happening? The ship is falling apart. We're all gonna die. I'm just gonna fall to his feet and grab his legs. Mostly just stalling for time because I don't think I have. Well, maybe I do.
I mean, there
mean,
is still that coolant.
Yeah, I was
Pipe.
gonna say I don't have another thing up my sleeve, but I guess I do have that. So yeah, instead of that, I'll just look at him, say no, and hit the button.
Okay, so I think this is probably again face danger unless you've got something more specific at play. And I think this is going to be roll plus hardware. And if this goes badly for you, there's an opportunity for him to act and or you take some harm as well. Yeah. What are you hoping this is going to do?
Knock him out.
Okay, fine. Let's have you roll 2d6 plus hardware.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yes, yeah.
Oh boy, snake eyes.
Oh my, and no one is there to help. You fail or a momentary success is undermined by a dire turn of events and you pay a price. I think what happens is you hit the button and there's a kind of psst from the valve that you were hoping was just going to blast him out of the way. And I think that his view of you just turned very nasty. So 0, 3, or 30. An individual community care about exposed to danger. 30. Your action caused collateral damage. And, oh, has an unintended effect. That coolant valve bursts but doesn't hit him. So it goes psst, and then, but it's blowing up into the ceiling. And you realize that it's the coolant ducts, the coolant pipes that run down to keep the reactor cold. And you know, there's got to be some kind of display that suddenly shows a very green reactor just edging up towards orange. So the clock is ticking on the reactor right now.
The good thing about that is he might think I did it on purpose and I don't look like a total fool. Maybe I sabotaged the reactor, right? So,
but clearly he does see you as
a
having
threat now.
caused this, whatever it is. So you are now at risk of a guy in combat armor. Briz, how are you hoping to be to allow someone to get close enough to not, you know, to have the some surprise from this hidden weapon of yours?
I think that when we're in the vents,
Big enough vents for you to crawl along in a suit.
Jort,
Yes.
I'm gonna get my weapon set to multiple targets. I want you to drop down and lure them in, and I'm gonna blaze them up.
That is a good plan, my friend.
If I die, you can have my armor.
You are a very good man, and I will honor you by doing what you say.
And I get the multi-scope for the multiple targets set up and wait in position.
Okay. Jort, is this a cunning plan?
I think it could be a cunning plan if I can get him in the right position.
Yes.
That's what sort of really needs to happen.
Because your small unit tactics, you know, maybe you're up one branch and Briz is up another branch of these ducts. So, you know, suppress a threat's capacity to do you harm, put a threat into your crosshairs, that kind of stuff. Does that seem like a good way to resolve this?
It does.
Okay,
I like it.
give that a bit of thought while I cut to Dr. Bransom, who, you know, probably, you know, we will see in the helmet just a single tear floating in the 0G as he notes the state of his experimental AI drone.
It's in distress. It's not like destroyed, is it?
No, you can fix it, but it's no use to you right now, or in the foreseeable until it is fixed. So, Pax, let's have you roll to face danger to finally give the Chimera back its freedom of action.
Roll coming up. Let's see. That is an 8.
8. Okay. On an 8, 7 plus you're successful. 7 to 9, there's a cost and you pay a price. Oh my. 95 or 59. 59 is your equipment or vehicle malfunctions.
Oops.
95, you're delayed or put at disadvantage. I think that the jetpack is showing red lights. So now you're out here without a tether, and the jetpack has just started to blink a red light at you.
Swim towards the... I'm joking.
So do you want to put a tick next to the jump pack to show that it's been damaged?
I have a question. Am I in radio contact with any other of my...
Oh, yes.
patrons?
Yeah, I'm assuming that you have a comnet that works between
Like a
the four of you.
secure line. So I'm aware that Pleasant has just started to blow up the reactor.
I don't
And
know
then-
if you're as I don't know if we've had that kind of monologue.
Conversation. Okay. okay.
I mean, I'm guessing that Pleasant might speak to the, oh shit, the reactor's going to blow. I don't know, Pleasant. Are you sending a
Yeah.
signal to the rest of the team?
I
And
think
if so,
that's a
what is it?
safe thing to say. Like, yeah,
Because
exactly as such.
Oh,
In that case, I would probably use the last thrust of the jetpack to get over to the derelict ship.
I don't get me. The jetpack is still functional,
Mhm.
but it's blinking, and so you can still use it. It won't give you advantage, and you are without a tether. I will remind you. Yeah, but you have freed the chimera. So Pleasant, you threw yourself on his mercy, and that went very badly. What do we see you do when he looks down, flicks up the faceplate, and you see that he's gonna just kind of
Yeah, I'm the mercy thing is what I was thinking, but then instead I tried to act like a badass and screwed up. So now there's no question about if I'm a threat. So I'm running away.
run? Okay.
I got nothing else. I'm running and hoping that some of the muscle comes and helps me.
Okay. I think this is risky or challenging. I think we're back to face danger, but with mobility. So it's roll plus precision.
I got to figure out what my precision is. I don't think I've ever done that one. Oh, it's a 0, of course it is.
Well, that's probably why
It's-
you've never done it.
It's not the worst. 11, no problem.
Fine.
I'm
You
a
know,
track and
that-
field athlete.
Yes. So, I mean, the difficulty here is you don't have much scope on this deck. It's basically a series of units, a bit like the one on your ship, but more of them. So you've got really a square to run around
Mhm.
with various units bolted on alongside the corridor.
So
But
it's-
right now you are ahead of this guy in powered armor.
Seems like it's more about the deception and changing directions rather than just speed. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh, which door
yeah.
did they go behind?
Exactly. So you've got time. Jort, let's see whether this plan goes to plan.
So my cunning plan is to kick in a sort of an access panel,
Yeah.
and drop through right by one of these guys. They're going to know I'm there. I'm perfectly happy with that because the last roll sort of said that's what was going to happen. So yeah, I'm going to stamp out this panel and try and seize control of the situation.
Let me be clear. Are you trying to seize control situation in engineering where Paxt is now being pursued, or seize control of the situation, i.e. set up Briz to have an advantageous
Set
shot?
up Briz because I thought that's what the plan was.
I just wondered whether, Pleasant, Scream, and the sound of pounding feet.
we'll get the other two, and then we can deal with this, with the chasers and the chasees and all
Okay.
that.
I'm going to give you the benefit of small unit tactics, but I think this is roll plus mind, not force. I think this is a cunning plan rather than a tactical advance. So let's have you roll plus mind, but 3 dice, take the top 2.
And one more dice.
1 more dice. So I'm assuming you're going to keep the 3 from that one.
Yeah. Well, depends what rolls on this one, doesn't it? 4. 4 and 3. 7.
Plus mind?
8.
8.
I'm
On
happy
7
with that.
plus, choose up to 3 tactical successes. So which of those 5 do you want?
I definitely want to deploy an ally or vehicle to where I want them. So, and I've picked a new bit of equipment. I've picked the Vario camo weave. So I think I dropped through, and this is going to confuse this guy. So this is going to. The other things I'm going to pick is suppressor threats capacity to do me harm.
Yeah.
His
Now-
targeting systems can't quite see me, and it's going to take him a while to lock on me. Hopefully next round. And I probably blocked his. I've dropped the wrong side of him, so he can't escape basically. And the third thing is deploy an
are we
ally.
going yeah, are we going to be able to get like the two people here so I can take the shots as multiple? Is something you can
I
do a
think
choice for that?
you can have a if Jort puts one of them in your crosshairs, you can have advantage on that one, or you can roll flat for and try to take two, or try to inflict harm on two.
I
of them.
will roll flat and try to take two.
Okay. So Jort, you drop down, suppress their capacity to do you harm, because they're slightly confused. And you've deployed Briz where you want him relative to these targets, and block their capacity to run for it. Am I right?
It is, yeah, but it was only 7 to 9.
It was.
It was,
I
and
know.
I think it damages the Vario weave.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah, I'll go for that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So had it, gone again. Briz, that's the state of play. You are rolling to engage at range. So it's roll plus precision. Let's see.
All right, let's do this.
You need to go to do well to get both of them, I think, at this point.
That's the opposite of well.
That is the opposite of well. That is a pair of ones.
Opposite of well. Yeah.
But of course, what we didn't do was we forgot that you have advantage on any one of those, on those tactical successes. So you need to roll another dice and hope that it's more than one.
Let's see if I can get a crit in GURPS. 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. Well, that's a lot better than it could have been, isn't it? So on an 8, I don't think that's good enough to take both.
Okay.
On 7+, you choose if your target takes harm or is disadvantaged.
Takes harm.
Takes
AP.
harm. 7 to 9, the GM will describe a consequence. So you're going to do harm to him. I will cancel his power armor on the basis of that shot. The GM will describe a consequence. You suffer harm during the exchange. The exchange causes undesirable collateral damage. If you will agree with this, I think that the collateral damage shifts the engagement out of the duct into, I'm going to say, the drive deck. Yeah,
that seems fair.
yeah. So down here is where you thought there were some survivors, but of course there is now a route from here to space. So atmosphere is being to vent from this area, and you will see a couple of emergency doors will come close. So you're inside now, inside the skin of the ship, but you are not necessarily in a great place. So you, Briz, and the one that you just shot have dropped through into this area. Jort, you're inside the duct with the other one. Yeah? Jort, what do you do with the other one? Because he's going to engage you if you don't engage him. Up close and personal.
I'm going to engage him.
Fine. So
I don't think in a duct my long-reach two-handed weapon is probably the right thing to use.
No, unless it's got boop. So engage force, roll plus force, then Jort.
I haven't rolled very well today at all. 7.
7. On a 7+, you choose if your target takes harm or is disadvantaged.
Harm.
Harm. So he takes harm. This is that. Again, I'm going to use up his power armor for that one. So next time you might be able to take him out. But what I want to make is the downside for you. I think you take harm during the exchange. Simple as that.
How much harm?
That's a good question. I think for a PC melee weapons, you take 2 stress.
I might not take 2 stress.
Oh,
I have scavenged body armor.
you do.
That's ignore 1 harm or stress to ignore 2 to 3 harm.
Take your pick. Do you want to stress it and ignore all the harm?
I've got a lot more stress than I have wounds currently. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, but now put a tick in the armor, you know, strapped on over your suit.
Oh, so it doesn't actually cause stress.
Sorry, the harm is stress. Yes, it does stress to you. So you were going to take 2.
Okay.
You take 1 because of that armor, or if you stress the armor, you could ignore all of the harm.
Oh, I'll take 1 harm.
Oh, fair enough. There you go. Just tick a stress box if you got some to tick.
Oh, so it's not a wound box, stress box.
No. It only goes to wound when stress is filled. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Bransom, you are now free floating in space. So I think this comes down to your capacity to maneuver in 0G, doesn't it? Roll plus precision. And where do you want to get to?
Yeah, I would like to go to the derelict ship
Fine.
in case that they do need help.
Okay. Do that thing.
26. And that is a 9.
9. Okay. 7 plus. Get somewhere hard to reach.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say the original. Remind me that there was this breach. Why didn't they go there? Why didn't they just go back to where they came? Was there something like blocked or something?
I think that the only way to get past the damage section of the ship was in the lift. So they used the lift to go down ship. And then went back up that way and out. Actually, you may not have come in through the breach. You might have come in through the airlock, mightn't you? I honestly can't remember. So, would you prefer to go in through the airlock?
I would prefer to go through the airlock.
Fine. Yes, because then the control deck remains intact with survivors in it. Fine. That's sorry about that little
no worries.
Senior moment. On a 7 to 9, you end up on dangerous ground or a challenging situation the GM describes. I think that it becomes very clear to you that the ship is now in significant danger. And in fact, radiation levels in the ship are just edging up due to the reactor problems. So I think you'll get that in the airlock from what the sensors beyond the airlock are telling you. Fair enough?
Fair.
Pleasant. I give you a choice of places you could duck into, or you can just try and keep running. 1, you could duck into their barrack room. You could duck in to the med bay stroke fitness exercise space. You could duck into what looks to be their equipment locker. That's probably options you've got available.
So I'm thinking about this being the finale, and 4 out of 5 ticks on the progress chart, and what that might look like for a virus that could be released from their med bay, and what that might do. So I think I'm going to go into the med bay,
okay,
and see if I can. We'll see if it comes to that, but I don't see any knights in shining armor coming anytime soon.
Are you hunkered down? Are you hiding in the med bay?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Jort, Briz, Dr. Bransom is on his way. Briz, what do you do when you drop through with the commander of this unit of security?
I move to kill him.
Is
And I think I
this
want to
about-
surprise. I want to surprise him because I've got the big gun, and I think he expects me to fall back. But then I am going to be on him, and I'm going to start breaking the soft parts of him that I can reach. Throat, eyes, notes, whatever I can get to.
So he's in the powered armor, but up close and personal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we know that he's marked as power armor. So like me, the power is down. So I am crunching through. I know these things. I know where to hit it to hurt.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this question then. Are you seeking? Well, no, that we'll play that as do you do harm
Yeah.
or do you do disadvantage? So roll to
Absolutely.
engage, roll plus force. Or precision, because you've got your
Precision.
martial arts, haven't you? Even
Yep.
in that suit.
That's an 8.
8. Okay, 7 plus. Harm or disadvantage?
Harm.
Harm. Okay. Melee weapons, falling objects. You actually end up putting them at disadvantage because the damage track for NPCs is disadvantage, taken out.
Sure.
So you have advantage over him at this point.
Okay.
On a 7 to 9, though, you too are going to suffer harm during the exchange.
Sure.
And I think because you're both in armor, I'm not gonna make it any more than that. For melee weapons, brawling, short falls, minor cuts and bruises, 1 harm.
Okay.
If you got no stress, that's another wound.
I have marked a wound.
Okay. Pleasant, you're hunkered down. Jort, the guy who remains in the duct system that you are wrestling with, what do we see?
Squeezing his eyeballs with my thumbs.
Well, given that you are in your suit, are you trying to
Even bigger thumbs.
crack the faceplate on his powered armor?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's have you roll to engage, unless you've got a better option.
No, engage sounds
Roll
really
plus
good.
force.
It's quite a short word. That's more like it. A 6 and a 3 plus 2, 11.
11. On a 7 plus, choose do harm or disadvantage.
I did harm last time.
You did, and that was absorbed by the suit.
More harm.
More harm. Okay. You need to do 2 in order to take him out. And there is no downside except, 10 plus. You say if your target is injured, incapacitated, retreating, pinned, surrendering, or dead.
My hands will go down into his thing and choke him out. Yeah, I'll choke him out through his neck.
As he begins to suffer the terrible pangs of vacuum death.
Yeah.
Fine. So that's him taken out. Pleasant sunk it down. Paxed, what do you want to do?
I would like to read I don't know, there has to be some kind of terminal where I can get the way down to the reactor core.
Fine. I think it is 4 minutes past the hour. I've let it run. And I think we see Paxed standing next to the lift and looking at the various decks, and it says reactor. No entry except in emergency. It is 4 minutes past now. Shall we take a 10-minute break and be back in our seats at 1:15? See you then. So back from our commercial break, and Keith, you asked a very sensible question, which was exactly what's the situation right now. So we have one of the security team chasing Pleasant, one who was is in a suit that's had a malfunction because it was electrocuted. We got one facing off against Jort, one facing off against Briz. And there is, of course, Azriela Fiennes, Madam Fiennes. Sorry, yes, you just killed him, Jort. That's quite true. Azriela Fiennes must be somewhere on that deck, but not in the med bay. Pleasant. Yeah? So that
I had that thought on break was I forgot about her. I would want to look for her.
Okay, I think this is kind of a complicated hide and seek in a very cramped ship with a guy in power armor. So we'll see how that goes in a moment. Paxed, you wanted well, is she friend or foe? Well, she's a senior member of Fines Logistics. She almost nudged Briz into an act of senseless violence just because, you know, burden, kill the rich. But he beat a hasty retreat to avoid having to face that challenge, using the rescuing of the non-rich and famous as a get out of jail free card, which is why you are now embarked on trying to find the other members of the crew, so that then he can be confident that he could kill Azraella Fiennes and not do anyone else any harm, for instance. So, Paxed, you want to make your way down to the reactor level, yeah? So yeah, you can do that. The lift up the spine of the ship is still working, and you will get down to the reactor level. You go past engineering, past the drive section, down to the reactor, a drive control section where there are some survivors, down to the reactor, and in your suit. And you know, there is a radiation indicator on the inside of the lift compartment, which tells you that it is getting quite hot in there. And the nature of the radiation, you're not in a hardened suit. So there is a time constraint down here. Yeah. Paying the price is probably going to mean you need to stay there some more time before you can do whatever you're going to do. Okay, just so you know. Pleasant. I can't think of any way to do this other than face danger, because it seems to me that the danger is the pursuing guy in the power armor. Can you find Azraella Fiennes without being found? Yeah.
Like some kind of information.
Oh, go on. Explore that for me.
Maybe just gather information.
Go on. Gather information. Roll plus
at least
mind.
that's
Give some
finding out where she
thought.
is, and then I'll know where she is, and maybe I can get there without getting killed.
Fine. Yeah, no, it's a good way to go. Roll plus
Maybe.
mind.
All right. 7, tolerable.
Tolerable. Okay, 7 plus. You discover something helpful and specific. When you think about your kind of rabbit run away from your pursuer, you are confident that there's really only one place, because you went through the locker, the store, you know, their equipment locker, which is really an open space with stuff around the walls. So it doesn't feel like there was anywhere for her to be hiding there. You went past the door into there's a barracks room on either side of the corridor. You think she's in one of them. Yeah. But 7 to 9, what you learn comes with a complication the GM will reveal, which is, I think, that now you have 2 guys in power armor. One of them is at disadvantage, so you're at advantage versus him because he's working the power armor and trying to run its diagnostic systems at the same time. You are going to need to time this very carefully to get from the med bay to where you believe Azraella is. Does that seem like a fair challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Bransom is about to enter the reactor. Briz, he's still up and going. You need to do more harm on this guy in order to take him out. What do we see you doing?
I like to imagine that I've cracked something open with the sort of the power gloves. I mean, the armor's damaged, but we're still power armor. So I imagine that I've cracked a bit, and I like to imagine that I'm like gripping his throat thing, which I think to him feels like it's tremendously futile that I'm doing that. And that's the point at which I think my hand comes up and shoves the muzzle of the ceramite pistol into the crack in his armor, and I'm just going to empty the clip. That's my goal.
Okay. Do you want to roll with force or precision? Because I think that's kind of gun fu in a way, isn't it?
I do want to roll with precision.
Fine. Because it's your martial arts gun fu.
Yep.
Roll with precision. Let's see what happens.
This would be a good time to roll well. That is a good time to roll well.
So that is an 11 all told, I think.
Yes.
So on a 7+, take harm. That is enough to take an NPC out. 10+, you save, and you get to choose incapacitated or dead.
DED, dead.
Fine. So at which point I think Jort will drop through from the vent above. As I say, you're now on the drive deck, but you are in a compartment that is rapidly evacuating to space. And in fact, I think probably the doors, the pressure doors at either end of this drive compartment seal themselves. There is no one in this compartment. Okay?
Okay.
What do you want to do? Jort, what do you want to do?
I'm going to look at the body in front of Briz and then turn to him and say, impressive. We are losing air, though, my friend.
Yeah. We gotta find those people.
Yeah, you're in suits. You're okay. You know, you're still airtight. But yeah, they're somewhere beyond those pressure doors if they're anywhere. Paxed. There's the button that says open the door. What do we see you doing?
Press the button.
And step out into the reactor, onto the deck. And there's this kind of spherical reactor in the middle of the room. Lots of kind of controls, but also I think lots of stuff venting here because of the damage that's been done elsewhere. What do you want to do?
I would like to. I mean, there's some kind of coolant that is not flowing, or there's some kind of overheating. I would like to postpone the process or reverse it. You know, cool the reactor.
Do you want to spend some time trying to make this happen, securing an advantage, or do you want to go straight for, I guess, facing danger?
Yeah, I think facing danger, because if I can't fix this thing now, I will go upstairs to the deck where the survivors are and just usher them out, because the ship is not can't be salvaged anyways.
Fine. I've set up myself here with a 4-segment clock for the reactor. So let's have you roll to face danger.
Let's see. 6 plus hardware.
Hardware, I think, yeah. I'd go hardware or mind, actually. You might be able to work out a solution to this rather than actually be about manipulating the hardware.
Let's see. What is my mind? Yeah. I mean, it's a 7 to 9 in any case.
Okay. So you're successful. So I will not mark a segment on the clock. 7 to 9, there's a cost and you pay a price. But now I will. But you think that you can do this, but it's not done yet. Yeah, the pay your price is you need to do more. Pleasant. What do we see as you try to get to this barracks area where you think Azraella must be without being spotted?
I guess the first thing I'm thinking is how much chatter has there been on the comms? Are we still trying to keep up a pretense of we don't know what's happening, or is it straight out tactical? We're here, we're there, we're doing this.
I think the sense you get is that any pretense has dropped. It's all going to hell in a handbasket. The guys on the deck with you can't contact their squad leader or anybody else. So I think that their default setting of suspicion has shifted into hunter-killer.
And do I have an idea when cavalry might be coming?
Paxed, I think, will have said, I'm trying to slow down the reactor meltdown. Briz and Jort have been busy, but may have reported that they're down on the engineering deck looking for survivors.
I killed a man with my bare hands.
Doesn't even seem noteworthy.
So it must be said, none of them at the moment seem particularly focused on getting back to you.
It's nice to think I can handle this on my own, is what I'm assuming.
Unless you are now saying, I'm in trouble here, and then we can see whether Briz or Jort, or indeed Dr. Bransom.
I'm not in trouble. It's
okay. Well, there you go then.
It's fine. Let's see. So the emergency lights are already on, right?
Yep.
So I'm between just running like crazy. Now, I think I'm going to dig around in the panel and try to cut out the emergency lights so that I have a little more stealth to run like a maniac.
Okay. Then this seems to me to be secure an advantage, actually.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Secure an advantage. I'll give you an option, hardware or mind.
Well, they're the same thing, so we'll call that hardware.
Okay, go for it. See if you can break the circuit on the emergency lights.
It's a 10.
Whoa, that's what we like. 7+, you succeed. You have advantage. No price to pay. All is well with the world. So yeah, the emergency lights go out, and it's now dark. Pitch. No light sources at all, apart from the odd panel that is, casting, some dim greenish nacreous glow.
Good work.
Jort, Briz, what's the plan?
We need to open these doors, Briz.
Let's you and me try to. Well, I say that's going to be you actually. My power armor, is not boosting me like it was. I'm going to need you to do that, and then I'm going to go through.
Sounds good, my friend.
So let's have Jort try to, I'm guessing, open doors. Despite the fact that the system says this will create another loss to vacuum. So let's have you roll plus. I think this is precision. Oh no, you tell me. You tell me. Precision or mind? Physical or mechanical? System software.
No, I think I'm going to force these doors open. I'd say it's more force, but it's the same role as precision.
Well, I mean, then we could do this as a basic move, which is face danger. Danger might be a vacuum loss. Roll plus force.
Sounds good to me.
It's also something that Briz could then aid an ally with, I think.
I need no help, my friend.
Okay.
I rolled 13.
Oh, well, on that, not a problem. How do we see you levering this open? Is this jamming the haft of your...
Yeah, I think it is the spiked haft of my hammer, and then, applying some pressure to it, and it's a well-made sword brother item. It does not break or bend.
And I think what happens there is that there's the rush of escaping atmosphere, and two crewmen cowering in a corner of a compartment that is now sealed that you've opened. What's the plan?
Squeeze through, my friend.
I will shift in as fast as I can. We'll get in there, and I'll say, where are the closest suits or containers or something to give you protection right now while we get you the other ship?
So is Jort then allowing the doors to close behind you to limit that atmospheric loss and buy you more time? So you find a different way out? Because somewhere on this
Oh yeah, I think that's
level is
absolutely perfect. Like I look back at Jordan, I'll like thumbs up.
Be well, my friend. I will
And
see you
you.
on the other side of the door.
Dr. Bransom, let's have you face danger.
Mhm. Let's see.
Hardware or mine, take your pick.
Well,
Oh,
this is Snake Eyes is a 3 with mind.
okay. You fail or momentary success is undermined by a dire turn of events. You pay a price. I am going to mark 2 segments on my 4-segment clock. There is 1 segment left before this thing becomes an unstoppable downward spiral.
I will tell it to them, give it to them straight. Guys, the reactor is about to explode. If you want to evacuate, evacuate now. Maybe take a shuttle or something.
What do we do?
Doctor, my friend, can you not save the day?
Can try.
I will try and save you.
Thank you, George. You are a good friend.
No problem, my friend.
So Briz is with 2 survivors. There are 2 survivors up on the command deck at the other end of the ship on the way to the airlock out. Pleasant is in search of Azriela. We're going to find out how that goes in a moment. And Paxed is being heroic. So, Pleasant, what do we see you doing? The lights go out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna count on my near photographic memory, I hope, and make it so hopefully I've observed well enough that I can just get back there moving slowly and surely in the dark before these guys can hunt me down with the searchlights on their helmets that I'm sure are there.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there has to be a light on one shot, and so you will look out of the med bay, and you'll see down that corridor some illumination moving away, and some more illumination around the corner at that end. So I can't think of any way to do this other than face danger. It's getting a lot of work tonight, but it is the nature of the beast, I suppose.
It's a dangerous place.
It is a dangerous place. I think this is stealth, so roll with precision.
Oh, and I have advantage.
You do have advantage.
That's a lovely thing. So it's a 10.
Oh, wow, look at that. You burst into a darkened room. You are aware dimly of bunks on either side, and a woman's voice says, Who's that? Who's that?
I hadn't thought this far ahead. I don't know what I'm going to answer her.
Well, that seems to me to be a fine place to leave you with that happening. Jort, rescuing Dr. Bransom or rescuing crew folk?
Well, I think the crew folk, that's sort of been sealed off, hasn't it? Because
No, you can access the command deck.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, save the innocents first. Dr. Pax is a strong person. I'm sure he can cope.
So
And then I will
Briz,
come and save him.
Briz, you have 2 survivors in tow. Jort is going in search of, as far as you know, the other 2 survivors. Pleasant has found Azriela Fines, and Dr. Bransom is trying to buy everyone an opportunity to escape safely. Or not, Dr. Bransom. What are you doing?
Well, I'm trying. I can, I'm mashing buttons, opening valves, trying to persuade the computer to do what I wanted to do, running diagnostics.
If only someone had taken an industrial career, but alas not. So roll plus mind or hardware. Take your pick.
I pick mind.
This is kind of blue wire, yellow wire.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, it's a 6. 6 total.
No.
No.
On a 6. The meltdown is now going to happen. Yeah. So now it is just a question of how quickly, if at all, you can get out.
I mean, leaving a place quickly is kind of my deal. I'm a bit worried about the innocent people on the other deck.
Briz has got 2 in tow. Jort is going in search of the others. So that's the 2 pairs of survivors you know of. And we know Pleasant is going to rescue Madame Fine somehow.
Can I read how much time we have so I can relay the information to the others?
The way I'm going to run this is that now that the clock is filled up, we've now got a countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1, meltdown. And paying a price is likely to be a tick on that clock. So you cannot now stop it. That's what that first clock was for. This second clock is how long have you got before it goes to China?
So on the comms, I will say reactor core breach imminent. You have 4 minutes.
Because there is, those 4 minutes are plot defined in terms of their length. So let's start with Pleasant.
I mean, I think that's perfect timing. That who is this? I'm the one who's going to save your ass. Where's the escape pod?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I just travel from one place to another on these things. I don't know how they work.
What's her position in the company?
She's a high up family member, so board member.
Okay, you executives have always been useless. And I think I'll grab her and probably put her in front of me, a little bit of human shield just in case, slash hostage. And I mean, I assume I know something about this. It's supposedly like the Chimera but bigger. So head in a promising looking direction, marching her in front of me, possibly with my stun gun in the small of her back.
Is there a way that you want to secure an advantage here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like I've got if the goons come down.
So is this about convincing her that she should cooperate? Or is this about forcing her to move carefully so she doesn't attract attention? Or is it forcing her?
I think it's the idea of we get out of this together or we don't get out of this.
That sounds like role plus influence then. Even if she goes first.
Is that under advocate or something else?
I think this is secure an advantage. Roll plus
influence.
Yeah,
okay.
Roll plus influence to get an advantage, and then we'll see whether this pays off.
It's bound not to at some point. Nope, but not there. That's 11.
Well, there you go. So you have advantage, no downside. We'll come back to you in a moment as you edge out into this darkened corridor, hoping that those lights at either end of the corridor continue to get slightly dimmer as they move away from you. Briz, what's the plan?
I want to get these guys and essentially move them along, see if we can get any kind of suit.
Okay.
Or suits for them.
Yeah, no, I think that there are certainly on a Fines Logistics ship, there will be emergency vac suits.
Then we're gonna
bubbles.
Get them to that, and we want to get the fuck out of here.
Okay. So this is about blowing the emergency exit on this deck, I think. Getting them inside these pressurized bubbles and then blowing them out into space and trying to pick them up. Does that seem fair?
Space danger?
I fear it is, unless you
I'll roll plus hardware.
I think that's fair.
That is a 6.
Well, that's one tick on the reactor clock, come what may.
Uh-huh.
And
I would like to ask that any negative effects come to me rather than them.
what a gentleman. Briz, man of the people. Well then, yes, let's have that happen. I think what happens is that you have to put some of your air supply into the single escape bubble that both these folks are crammed into.
Yeah, I'll just pull my tank off and slap it on there.
Wow. So you are
Um,
working on what's inside the suit right now.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Jort, making your way up the lift shaft towards the command deck. What do we
Yeah.
see when you get there?
Well, actually, sort of while that's going on, I'd like to use a mechanic that's not being used, I don't think.
Well, spill the beans.
I would like to activate a favor. Spell OUR for any American that's watching it. That's how you spell favor. And I would like to call in my Sword Brotherhood favor
Go on.
by radioing somebody that I know quite well, Stinger Cast, saying, "This is Jort. You know me. We need assistance."
Well, can I suggest a flashback to last week when you foresaw all this chaos unraveling? That's when you sent the message to Cast.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, you call that in. I mean, I will check the rule what I wrote, but I think it says asking a faction for help. Yeah, reduce. Yeah, extract. Yeah, extract a character from a dangerous entanglement. That seems fair. Then spend the favor. Fine.
I'd still like to find these two guys.
Oh yeah. That's Cast is incoming. You get to the command deck, and there are indeed two guys in suits, because there are proper suits on the command deck, and they're in there. I think probably trying to work out if there's any way they could make their way down the outside of the ship as far as the shuttle and try to use it as a lifeboat, because they're no fools, but they've not yet come to a conclusion how to do that. So Jort, what do we see as the doors of the lift shaft open on these guys in suits?
And these are friendly folks.
Well, they're employed by Fines Logistics.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm probably pushing myself into a right crap dice roll here. So I think the door opens and it is me holding my hammer two-handedly, looking at these two guys and saying, "You can either come with me and live or die."
That is neither charm, pacify, encourage, barter, lie, or swindle. That is threaten or incite. Roll plus force to compel, convince.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to push me in the influence. 7, 8, 9.
9, 7 plus. They'll do what you want or agree to your conditions. Their agreement comes with a counter-offer, demand, or complication. Their agreement comes with a demand. Their lives will be worthless if their employer does not survive.
Very well. Get free. I will go and I will save your employer.
Okay. Now that you've managed to get that open, they can make their way out themselves. And I think that we'll see them on the skin of the derelict, heading towards the tether, which still connects rather loosely now, the Chimera to this ship. Briz, you know, the ball the inflatable ball containing these 2 survivors is there. You've got a handle on it. But, you know, we can see the little dial that says how much atmosphere you've got left. It's going
Is there like a cargo pod here?
on the derelict or on
Like in this room, is there any kind of like even like a cargo box is what I'm talking about.
Oh, I see. This is the drive deck. I'm prepared to have an equipment container down here.
Okay. I slap my radio transponder on it, throw my armor in the box, and boot that out into space.
Leaving you.
To go and see what else we can do here on this ship.
Oh, wow.
But Jort's going to get the armor
Oh.
if I don't make it out of here.
Oh, my. Okay. Pleasant. You have... Oh, Pax. Let me go to Pax first. Pax, you've given the instruction. What is your either escape route or plan?
I mean, if the direct route seems to be the lift, it's a bit what's it called? Not very adventurous, but I mean, if the lift is not working, I would probably use the shaft and maneuver my way up.
Yeah, or kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's cooler because it allows me to have you nimbly parkour with or without gravity.
Exactly.
Let's have you roll plus precision, and then you can tell me where the difficult places you want to get to.
Yes, this is a 10.
Okay.
And
what's the nature of your success?
Nature of my success is I, exit the lift to the what is it called? The direct way back to my ship.
Fine.
Umbilical?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have an umbilical? I don't think so.
You don't at the moment have an umbilical connection.
That's
There's
right,
a
that's
tether.
right.
The tether to the tether then.
So you make your way right to the top of the ship to the airlock, where you will find 2 members of the crew.
Oh, that's convenient.
Just considering, well, look, we could make our way along this tether to that ship over there. But what do we do? Just bang on the side of the ship? What do we do? And so they're beginning to tether themselves to that. Yeah. Pleasant. You've got advantage to get to, well, where do you want to get to? Do you want to get to one of these emergency bubbles, these kind of atmosphere bubbles, or do you want to try and head up ship to a more kind of classical exit?
I mean, I think we need to get out, right?
Okay.
There may be nicer ways, but get out first and then figure it out later. So
okay, so I'm seeing you trying to push Azriela into this half inflated bubble or this kind of framework. You're going to get in after her, zip it shut, and then punch the button that will blow the emergency exit from the deck. Yeah,
sounds good.
I think that's probably face danger with advantage, and I think it's probably, I think this has got to be precision. Because this is quite a complicated physical activity, unless you've got a better offer for me.
Yeah, that's probably the thing.
Okay, do that thing.
It's a 13.
Well, will you look at that? Out you pop. The atmosphere rushes out after you. The section of the hull blows away from you, and the little kind of inflated pod pops out. It hadn't been damaged, so it has enough oxygen for 2 people. So there's you and Azriela kind of spinning out towards the Chimera.
And I think now that there is the light of space on us, that she probably recognizes who I am at that point. With the what?
Well, what? Because let's have her recognize you. What do you think happens when she recognizes you?
Or
As
I mean, I
that
guess
whistle blower that.
Yeah,
making life difficult for the company.
I don't know what would her reaction be to that.
I mean, I think that we see the recognition in her eyes, but she doesn't do anything because to do anything at the moment is to put herself in danger.
I think I say, I've always been concerned about people's safety as we tumble through space.
Oh, I've just seen what Horst has put in the chat. She says, whatever happens, I need you to know that my family will be very grateful. And she draws from inside her tunic a pencil and a piece of a pad and begins to write, this person has done me a good turn on the pad. Yeah. We'll leave that at the moment because, of course, the audience has flashback to Chekhov's pen set. Jort, you've got that they've made their way towards the exit. Paxt is helping them get back to the Chimera. What do you do?
Do I know that she's been saved?
Well, Pleasant, you tell me. Do you say I've got Madam Fines?
Yeah, I think I'd let people know.
Okay, so yes, you do.
Damn him! I was going to save her.
Well, interestingly, as you are up there on the skin of the ship, you will see someone in some power armor emerge from the emergency exit that Pleasant used. And it isn't Briz. There are 3 objects now out there in space. Pleasant and Azriela in a survival bubble. 2 crew in a survival bubble. And a container, a sealed container, which, appears to have Briz in it.
And a guy in power armor.
And a guy in a power armor who has just launched himself in pursuit of Pleasant, or Pleasant's bubble. Meanwhile, Briz.
Yeah. I am heading to the command deck.
Okay. Heading up, stripped of your power armor.
Yep.
Have we ever seen you outside your power armor? I'm being
A scrawny little guy.
Making your way up through the lift shaft towards the command deck.
Yep.
I think I have to know how easily that goes, given the difficulty the ship is in. So I think face danger, I'll give you an option. Is this strength and endurance, roll plus force, or mobility and agility, roll plus precision?
Definitely. I lean into my mobility here.
Fine. Roll plus precision.
That is a 9.
A 9, 7 to 9, you get to the command deck, but there's a cost or price to pay. Let's see what that percentile looks like. It says 09 or 90. 09, you create an opportunity for an enemy. Ooh. We have 1 surviving, power armored, but malfunctioning security guy. And I think as you're making your way up, a light plays from below and you see a man in power armor following you.
I'm going to book it.
Jort. Oh,
Can I see the
let me
sky?
find out from Dr. Branson first. Dr. Branson, is your objective to use that tether to get you and the two survivors to the Chimera? Or
Indeed.
you will, as you look down, as you're tethered, making your way along the tether, you will also note what I've described to Jort. Pleasant, 2 other survivors, and a container which appears to be emitting Briz's locator signal.
And the container's just free floating with
Yes.
a
heading in the general direction of the Chimera.
So I think I will help the two members of the crew to get over.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I will try to lasso the container.
Fine. Jort, I need to know what you're going to do before we go to our second commercial break.
It'll be the guy in power armor.
He's down there using the power armor to kind of make his way in pursuit of Pleasant. So he's under power of some kind. You're just in your suit with your ad hoc armor bolted on the outside, strapped on the outside. What do we see you do in order to intercept him?
I'd like to grab something. I was going to grab the container, but Taxt has already used that. I would like to grab something, and I'd like to seize control of the situation, but and block this guy's exit.
Okay. So let's come back and resolve that in, shall we say, 5 minutes? Let's do that. So that we left that on Jort deciding what to do with respect to the guy in the power armor pursuing Pleasant. Briz is being pursued, it must be said, probably more slowly than you, Briz. So I think I'll probably give you advantage to stay ahead of the guy in power armor behind you. We have a couple of ticks left on the China Syndrome reactor. And Pleasant is in a bubble with a plutocrat. So let's start with Jort. What exactly are you trying to do here? You want to have a go at this guy pursuing Pleasant?
Yeah, I want to really block a threat's escape route or line of retreat.
Okay.
Which is one of my Vanguard moves.
It is. So let's have you roll with Vanguard. This does seem to me to be about force rather than
Yeah, I want to
mind.
put a large object in his way.
Okay. So we see you, tearing some radio dish or aerial off the front end of the ship, and you're going to use that to do something. Okay, that sounds actually more like mind than force, because it's not like you're getting stuck in here.
Very well, that sounds good to me.
So you roll plus mind.
6 and a 4, 10. It could have been with hardware and I'd still achieved it.
Or a 7+. Choose 2 tactical successes. Only 2 because I don't think this is small unit tactics.
Okay, I want to definitely block his threat of escape.
Okay.
Can I assist anybody with deploying alloy or vehicle to where I want them to be? If that's not an option, I'll just
I don't think so.
press.
Unless by clipping him with that aerial, you disturb him in such a way that Dr. Bransom has a chance to be deployed somewhere that he could do some harm to him, or could be where he wants to be. What do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll block this guy's escape route. That's definitely the first one.
Yeah.
I don't mind if he gets a shot off at me. That's fine. And yeah, I'd like to pass an advantage to somebody. So sort of deploy an alloy.
Or
not an alloy.
Else,
that would be a bit of metal.
Something else the GM agrees is possible, practical, reasonable. So there's a free advantage out there for someone who feels they can make use of it. No 7 to 9, all is well with the world. So he's disturbed, he's tumbling, he's at disadvantage. Pleasant. I did notice you said being bought off definitely makes me want to kill her more. I'm just wondering, Pleasant, what's going on in that bubble? Because of course she will have used your back to write on.
What has she written on this?
She's written a piece of paper that says, if for any reason I should not survive, please treat, what's your name again, dear?
Here, I'll write it for you.
And then you give it back to her, and
I haven't given her the pencil back.
Oh, I see. Okay. Can I have the pencil, please? Pause. I'll come back to you in a moment. Briz, roll to face danger. You have advantage because you're not encumbered by some malfunctioning power armor. So I think it's probably roll plus agility here, precision.
That is a 13.
Oh, well. Look at that. That goes, but you are free and clear. There is a pending threat behind you somewhere, but it's going to take something really disadvantageous to have him catch you at this point. So you make it to the EVA deck.
The command deck.
Command deck, sorry, yes.
Yeah. I basically want to get to the screens and I want to check where everybody is at.
Fine. I think from there you can see Jort doing what Jort has just done. You don't see the detail of what's happening inside that reflective bubble that has pleasant in it. And there's another bubble, the one you put into play. There's the container containing your power armor, and there is a bad guy in power armor who is currently disadvantaged, one of the security team.
I would like to vent the reactor plasma, since it's overflowing, at that dude.
Okay, now I think that the only way I don't know how to do that. I think this is face danger.
Sure.
I think it is with hardware or mind.
I am good with hardware here.
And I think if this goes badly, that might well shuffle us
Either
towards
way.
China.
Either way, I'm good. I'm actually figuring this is going to tick another tick on that clock, regardless of what I do.
I think that's probably fair.
So
let's have you roll
+1.
plus hardware.
So that is a 5.
Oh my, you fail, or a momentary success is undermined by a dire turn of events and you pay a price. Let me see. Unless you have a price in mind. And
how many ticks are left on the clock?
Well, there were 2.
I think both of those go.
Fine. That works for me.
And I think as I see that like the panel light up, I think I want to turn around, see the guy with the armor come and pop his head up, and I give him whatever the space gesture is as we explode.
Riz goes out in a blaze of glory. I think the plasma vents into the lift shaft. And there is that moment when we see him raise his weapon to take you out as you give him the finger. And then he's engulfed in this plasma. But sadly, so is Briz. Pleasant. Could I have my pencil back? I just need to sign this.
Is this just after the ship exploded?
Well, I think that, you can see it is beginning. There are explosions beginning to happen on various decks. It's not coming apart in pieces. It may do soon.
My goodness. All right, let's see what happens with this. You people think you can paper over everything with your creds. But there's some things that can't be bought. Some things that are literally life and death. And I'm gonna.
And she, the look on her face is, what on earth are you talking about?
What could this be? I'm gonna use the pencil to puncture our bubble because I'm still in my suit and she's not.
Brilliant. And of course, this is under significant pressure. It's not built to resist. Nobody assumes anyone's going to apply a pointed object to this. So Chekhov's pencil and just peels away. What do we see? What's our last view of Azriela Fiennes?
Imagine just absolute incomprehension. I'd probably holding on to the paper that was supposed to be important. And I don't know if that then sends me spinning wildly because that's a propellant.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
so I'm just going any old direction.
Every which way. So Jort, I think we'll see you at the top of the ship, and you'll see from the reactor core upwards, deck blows out, deck blows out, deck blows out, coming up towards you, just like the Titanic sinking. You have advantage, or Pax has advantage to do something.
With great pressure, I'm going to jump from the front of the ship. Yeah, I've radioed for some assistance to come in.
You have. What happens then, Jort?
I think a small shuttle comes over from a nearby ship and is hovering. I'd still like to make a roll to get to it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think we see this blowing out underneath you. Paxed, you're some distance away, safe distance away on the Chimera with the survivors, but you do now notice Pleasant is spinning away. There's no sign of Briz, but his locator is in that container.
I mean, the container is theoretically big enough that he could fit in there, right?
Oh yeah, because his armor's gone in there. So I mean, yeah, absolutely. That I think is the only thing you can conclude.
So I would assume that he is relatively safe compared to Pleasant, but I will send a message to Briz.
Nothing comes back.
Chimera to unknown compartment containing Briz. Copy.
Nothing.
Jort, where's Briz? I have a Pleasant here.
He was on that ship.
He seems to be in the box, but he's not answering. I grab Pleasant. Hold on.
So Pax makes a leap for Pleasant, and Jort, I think, as the decks are blowing out, coming towards you, out from behind the explosion comes that shuttle, and we see past in an open airlock, throwing a line your way, and they don't stop. They just assume you're going to grab that line. Yeah.
Yep.
Face danger. Agility, I think.
I think this is agility, yeah. Now, there is an advantage in play, but I'm going to give the advantage to the good doctor.
To rescue Pleasant.
Yeah. Oh, don't get no better than that. 3 and a 5 plus 2 precision, 10. Just where you want it.
And you're whipped away as the final deck blows out. But then, Dr. Bransom, this sounds like your parkour in 0G, doesn't it? Roll plus precision.
Let's see. That is a 10.
Oh, well. Get somewhere hard to reach. And I think dramatically dodge the imminent harm that Pleasant was going to take as they were inevitably drawn towards the system's sun. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine using some kind of cable or tether to lasso
Secure.
Pleasant in.
Fine. And maybe the last spurt of the jetpack.
Yeah, exactly. And then I assume that the container with Briz inside is close by, so that it can just load it onto the ship.
Yeah, I go with that. And I think what I want to do is, Lowell, I want you to epilogue us out in terms of frame the scene for me where the rest of the crew discover that you are certainly dead. Where does this take place? What do you know?
I think it is in the cargo bay, like when they've dragged that on board, assuming that Jort has gotten back with the group and everyone is there, and I think that they pop it open and it is very clearly the pieces of the armor along with I've pulled up on my data pad and left it up the manual. There, and that is it.
Pleasant, what is your reaction to when the container pops open?
I think it's like holding the helmet and looking at it, but the visor's down and the coating is reflecting their own face. And just, I took one of them out for you in your memory. First of many. And I'll hand the helmet over to Jort. He wanted you to have this.
Next, what is your reaction?
I don't know. I think Pext is used to loss on a large scale, so I don't think that he will get emotional. He has like a thoughtful, contemplative, expression.
And finally, Jort. What do we see or hear of Jort in this moment?
Jort will scream very, very loud at the top of his voice. No! I shall avenge you, my friend. I shall avenge you.
Veins popping on his forehead. And I think that's roll credits, to be honest. I don't think, any individual epilogues couldn't hit us where that hit us.
I want at least like an epilogue where the container, like when the whole cast and the camera people and everything rolls by, we see the container that contained the armor to float out into space, and there's a ribbon around it, and some kind of, and when we see maybe the three of us in our suits, standing there.
It's the post-credit scene. There's bound to be another series. Okay. Thank you. I think that is our game. I would quite like a quick, I suppose it's not Stars and Wishes, more Roses and Thorns, really. In the order I can see you. Paul, any roses, any thorns?
Yeah, really enjoyable. Good system, Alan. Quite quick. I thought that was good. I think everybody definitely played the characters really well, and each character was unique. So great to all the players, for that. But also to you, Alan, for keeping the skill sets quite divided. I think there was no. You could get a little bit of overlap, which is always handy if somebody needs to do something. But they were nice and unique. I didn't feel that my skill sets were getting drawn away by anybody, and hopefully nobody else thought theirs was getting drawn away by mine.
Well, let me just credit Sean Gomes for Uncharted Worlds, which most of the character skills came from, and Shawn Tomkin for where many of the kind of basic moves came from. So all credit to them. Horst, any roses, any thorns?
Yeah, I really liked the fact that I've run Uncharted Worlds before, a pretty long campaign actually, and I had a difficulty to make the factions relevant because they could always just fly away. And the idea to have a system that, like these 6 systems that you can't escape. You can go from one system to the other, but then you will be within the influence of another faction. That is actually a really, really good idea. So I will steal this definitely for my next science fiction campaign.
You're very welcome to have it.
What I said, I don't know, in the second or third session, I really liked the kind of sandboxy vibe that we could go wherever we wanted to, and elements that the virus definitely a rose to Keith to make the virus into something completely relevant for the story, which was just a character element of Briz. So that was a really cool idea. My only thorn would be there was a lot of rolling where I thought it could have been a bit more accompanied by what actually is happening. So I come from a, as many of you know, from an OSR standpoint where rolling is almost frowned upon. And I understand that PBTA games are different, but I do sometimes long for, planning is okay. If you have a good plan, give me the plan. What is the plan? Describing what you're actually doing and then look at the roles is for me more satisfying than just looking for a way to roll as quickly as possible. That will be my thought.
Take that. Keith, any roses, any thorns?
Yes, I'm going to go out of order just because I'm thinking about what Horst was saying. I think the two and a half systems merged together really well. I think it did seem like there were more roles than I was expecting, and I think that's where the systems were merging. Was sometimes it's like this system wants you to roll here, but then that system wants you to roll here, so it ends up being both of them kind of. But overall, I think it worked really well, and I especially love the character creation. Everybody felt very flavorful. As always, love the characters, love their interaction. The downside is they had so much good backstory with the system that we only got to see a tiny slice of it, and we didn't. There's by the nature of it, there's 1,000 untied threads at the end where I'm like, but what happened with that? But as far as the final session, it was a great action-packed season finale, and that particular, I guess, anecdote ended very satisfyingly, even if all the other ones we don't get to see. And that's what they would give you the next season, I suppose.
Exactly so, yes. And finally, Lowell, any roses, any thorns?
So it's really interesting to me because I played Starforged and I quite liked that. But it was, I am glad to have less of the let's have a fucking clock for every goddamn thing. Like I appreciate what that does for solo play in that and stuff, but there is a thing with tracking that seems cool to me, and then when we actually get to the table, always makes me nuts. It's why I hate City of Mist. I think City of Mist is a really good idea. Like conceptually, it's great, but then it goes, oh, and you've got to have a damage and tracking thing for every single thing, and that bugs me. So this approach, I like, because I think you've taken some of that out, and instead, we've got that in the place. We've got the standard like Forge in the Dark clocks and things like that. I do agree with the kind of the roles we had. At times they felt a little granular, but when they could have maybe been a little bit broader to solve a problem. But that's also, it's a space game, so you kind of there is a kind of push and aim towards granularity. I think that the mental sort of picturing of it. I had the same problem when I ran. I'm gonna get the name of it here. Not Uncharted Worlds. Is it Infinite Space?
Infinite, yeah.
Infinite Galaxies?
That's right.
Yeah.
No,
there's only so many space words that can be combined.
There's another space game I ran that
it is
was
Infinite Galaxies.
Impulse Drive, actually, is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, right.
Impulse Drive. Sorry. Yeah, there's the other one. I really liked Impulse Drive quite a bit, except that it had dumb playbook moves. That the playbook moves went, hey, you're a fighter, let me give you another move that shows you how to be a better fighter. Oh, and here's another move that shows you how to be a better fighter, and like had all that, like you go down that line. And I actually ran Coriolis using that, and I liked it. So I really, there's a lot I appreciated about this version. I would have liked, I do think Paul's right, maybe I appreciate that high level, that experience count for a short game. I think if you're doing this longer term, I would dial that back by half.
Yeah.
The other thing I would like as perhaps options for advancement is some more stuff for possible advantages, moves, things like that for ship stuff. You know, getting to sub in your stat instead of the ship stat, or giving us, when you go to do this, you're really good at that. There's a couple of things in the abilities, but I would love some more of that. I mean, that's one of the things that of course Starforged wins on, is it has those very cool sets of things.
It does.
But I like the setup here, the characters, and I say that, you know, all of that I'm saying with the default assumption that everybody's characters were great. I love the play. Like I almost don't even think it needs to be said because it was so strong. I enjoyed everyone's decisions, and little things like Pleasant be uncertain there about killing her, and Jort pausing and then being willing to go along with me on the stuff, that whole interaction there at the start, and Paxed not being visibly shaken, like the good character details, like great moments throughout. So good setup, great scenario for this end bit, and had fun.
Good. Yeah, I think that the XP doesn't work. I think the XP is too generous. I think that the additional skill moves are a bit dull as is, so they need a bit of work. And I take your point about upgrade ship or mess with ship moves. And whether in fact there are too many ship moves, I don't know.
How much like Impulse Drive is this?
Not a great deal.
And that's fine. Let's stop there.
Impulse Drive
has
I found
a complicated set of rules for ships landing and resolving that. There's this weird fractal, which is interesting. And then it's a basic PBTA, except that they've got a set of like countdown things that you take for how your character
I
thinks.
remember.
Yeah,
Every
I
scene.
just thought we were a bit sort of scum and villainy sort of character set.
Yeah.
maybe.
Impulse Drive has banger random tables for missions.
Mm-hmm. There's some great stuff in there. It needs a second edition desperately.
It does. So no, thank you all for that. I had a great time, and I think I might come back to this after having a tweak.
Yeah.
Maybe run, because I think there is something about your point, Keith, about there's quite a lot that we created that is just sitting there. So yeah, well, I think we might come back to this. So thank you all. I'll stop the recording there. Oh, can I post this?
Yes, please.
Because I'm not sure I posted last week's, but I will post them both if I didn't. Okay.